to press record. I'm going to press record, but I'll edit it slightly
this
anyway.
Meeting is being recorded.
Yeah.
So see, if there is they've asked, this meeting is being recorded. By continuing to be in the meeting,
Yeah.
you are consenting
Recording.
to. So I'll press continue.
Yes, please.
Should
Yeah.
I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I suppose where we'll kick off from, because you've got this amazing story behind you. It's, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself? What's it like being you?
So my case is a very unique case, I would say, because I'm born in a royal family, which I mean, many people think it's a privilege or it's an honor to be born in a family like that, and then to be born in the family, knowing that you're different, or rather, not knowing what you are, but kind of having a feeling that you are different than the others, and different, when I mean different, is different sexual from the sexuality point of view, and then discovering your sexuality at a later age and getting identified as a gay man, and then coming out of the closet of being gay to the world. So it was a kind of, I would say, my life has been in 3 prisons, and I'll explain to you why it is a prison. So I was in a prison where there were protocols, barriers, a lot of norms to be followed, rules and regulations, do's and don'ts. Being born in a royal family is a very protected atmosphere. So that was my first prison. The second prison was being born as gay and having to live a life of lie, forced to live a double standard life where I am something else public and something else private. So that was my second prison. And the third prison was to coming out from the shackles of being ostracized and tortured and traumatized, for coming out to the parents as gay, and then not having the freedom to be who you are. So I managed to come out from my first prison and go to the second prison, and then coming out from the second prison and going into the third prison, and then finally in 2006 coming out of all my prisons and becoming totally free, and having the freedom to be who I am, and able to live the life of truth.
So you've ended your prison sentences now. Then you've
Yes,
served your time.
Yeah.
I suppose,
yeah.
What do you think is the biggest misconception then there is about you? Because you've been on Oprah, you've been on TV, there's been documentaries, you've obviously been well reported in the press out there. But what do you think the biggest misconceptions are still?
See, I think one of the biggest challenges we are facing is the hypocrisy. It's not about lack of awareness. People are aware of things, but people are not ready to accept the truth. Because I mean, if I talk about India, I mean, culturally, we come from the land of Kama Sutra, which is the world's oldest sex encyclopedia, written 500 years even before Jesus Christ was born. And yet we are turning an eye away from that and not even teaching the basic sex education to our children. The parents don't teach, the schools don't teach. And so I don't know where India has gone from the point of view of the sexual liberation to complete sexual conservation, being conservative about sex and a taboo for that. So that is something which I'm day in day out I'm fighting for, because people are not ready to come to terms to reality. People are not even willing to accept that homosexuality exists in India. They say, no, it's a foreign disease and it's a mental disorder, and whatever they like to talk about for their own convenience. And then of course religion comes in the way to many people, because everything is blamed on the religion. Oh, the Holy Bible says that, the Quran says that. Unfortunately, Gita doesn't speak anything about anti-LGBT, so they don't have a point to say in that. But then I always wonder that why do people bring religion in between? Because according to me, no God, no religion is going to spread hatred. All religions in the world will spread love, will spread equality, will spread the acceptance. It is the human beings who are the mischievous people, the ones who create mischief for their own convenience. they kind of interpret and say, no, our
Yeah.
God says that hate these people, and our God says that they are the sinners, and our God says that they should go to hell. That's the people who are saying, the human beings are saying, I bet if Jesus Christ was asked, or Allah would have been asked this question, he would have totally denied what we are making these interpretations. So this is what we are still facing. This homophobia is there, transphobia, biphobia, and this hypocrisy which is prevailing in our society, not just in India, but I think it's world over, which is a very big challenge for us.
So I suppose you're right, because it is this quest for identity, but everyone's forcing their own version of your identity upon you, and everybody else is forgetting actually we all have an equal stake in our own lives as a human experience. What do you think it is about you coming out and saying, this is who I am, this is how I feel comfortable, that is scaring a lot of other people? Is it the fact that they are too not able to live the lives that they want to live, or is there something else?
See, my coming out definitely created a big scandal, I would say. It was a big controversy, because I kind of created history by becoming the first ever royal in the world to come out. Not that there are not any royals. I always joke. I said there are a lot of us queens hiding in the royal closet. but they're all scared. Nobody wants to take the plunge of, because the first thing that comes to their mind is their reputation is at stake. Nobody wants to, nobody who has lived a life of being famous and, in a royal family wants to be subject to, shame and humiliation and reputation and all these kind of things. Nobody likes that. So nobody has taken that plunge, similarly, now my coming out, as I said, created history. And my idea of coming out was, I wanted people to talk on a subject which is existing in our society, and yet
Yeah.
it is considered as a taboo, and it's underground. So definitely it has helped in changing mindsets of a lot of people who have now at least begun to talk, because I always believe that one needs to talk for any kind of social change to happen.
Yeah.
We need to break the silence. We can't just keep quiet and accept the things the way we are. We need to open our mouth and talk about it. And doesn't matter if there is negative repercussions, doesn't matter if in the debates we have negativity, but at least talk. And that's how people are able to change their mindset.
But do you think there's a big fear there as well? Because by talking, it means that we have to open up and face the brutality of truth within ourselves. But a lot of people are walking around with a mask on, aren't they? They're walking around thinking this is what society finds acceptable, whether it is sexuality or whether it is in terms of your uniqueness out there. And that's tiring after a while. And then what that happens is that it turns into anger, it turns into hate, and it turns into frustration. And then you start seeing the elves of society come through. But what do you think it is about your being that has actually caused that much of an issue in India? Because as you rightly said, it's home of the Kama Sutra. So this is age. This is before Playboy and everything else like that, right? So it's there. But when the British came in, they brought in the different laws and the jurisdiction. The very fabric of Indianness then shifted into this puritanical version, which is based upon Western traditionalism, whereby any form of sexuality is taboo. So essentially, what you were doing is actually showcasing what the true version of Indianness is, surely?
Yeah. So there are two things. One, of course, I mentioned about Kama Sutra. I always say I'm proud to be Indian, but at the same time, we are a country of paradox. We always contradict ourselves in each and everything. So now, like I mentioned about the Kama Sutra, there is an entire chapter in the Kama Sutra on homosexuality, lesbianism, transgenderism. There are sexual positions to show how a man and man can enjoy sex, or how a woman and woman can enjoy sex. And we have centuries old temples in India, like one of the famous ones is Khajuraho, which has got an open depiction of homoerotic forms of statues and sculptures. Another very significant thing I would like to talk about today is that India is one of the few countries in the world which accepts homo-social culture. Okay, now let me explain what is homo-social culture. By homo-social culture is our country allows the same sex men and men, male and male, females and females, to socialize together freely in public or in private, and that's allowed. But when it comes to opposite sex coming together, for example, if you go to any public part of India, you will see men and men holding hand in arms together, embracing each other, kissing each other. Similarly, women and women doing that. That's all allowed. But the moment a man and a woman want to even hold hands and walk on any road of India, it's seen as, oh my God, what's that? As if somebody's come from outer space, So that is homo-social culture. I always give examples. If you need to rent a room in India, or even to rent a room in a hotel in India, if two guys, two boys, or two females, two girls need to do that, it's very easy. You can easily get a room, But I challenge, if you are a boy and a girl, or a male or a female, want to rent a room or even rent a room in a hotel, no way. You have to prove whether she's your sister, she's your mother, she's your aunt, she's a wife. What is she? Then you will be allowed to. So from childhood we are doing, like, if you're a child and if you ask your mother, Mom, can I go and play with this girl? She says, no way. But the boy can come and play. The boy can go inside the room of if you're a guy, and do whatever you want to, the boy wants to do. Nobody will question that. So this is a homo-social culture. Our own palaces. I've grown up in palaces where we have a women's section separate and we have a men's section separate. In the men's section, only men are allowed, and women's section, only women are allowed. So I say, what is this? We are nothing but breeding homosexuality, It starts from home itself, So see, after all this is happening, why does India still have an issue with homosexuality? I do not understand that,
It's a compelling argument. Absolutely. Like, there's one issue that I want to talk about in more detail. It's in your pursuit of who you are as a human being, you also had to almost undergo something called conversion therapy. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And this is a travesty, I believe, across the globe, because of just the brutality of what it is. Could you run us through your experience of conversion therapy? What is it?
Yeah. So see, in my case, first of all, let me tell you, in conversion, there are two types of conversion. One is a medical conversion and one is a religious conversion. Now, fortunately for me, the medical conversion therapy did not hold good, because my parents tried to, when they came to know that I'm gay, they said, no, this is now science, as technology has advanced, even cancer has a cure. So homosexuality also has a cure, So even if there is no cure in India, America has more advanced technology. We can perform surgery on him. We can give him shock therapy, mental shock therapy, and make him straight. So those were their ideas which were floating in their mind. Why I'm saying I'm fortunate is because I was born left-handed. And when the teacher had noticed that I'm using my left hand to write, she pointed it out to my parents. And then my parents took me to a psychiatrist and asked that whether I could be made to use my right hand and not my left, because a lot of our religious rituals are done with the right hand.
Yeah.
We're not, India, it's not supposed to be good with the Hindus to use with the left hand.
Yeah.
The psychiatrist in those days, and this is, I'm talking about early 1970s, psychiatrist blankly refused to my parents, said, no way, please do not even try to make him right-handed. This is what he's born with. He will use his left hand, and if you try to make him right-handed, it will have serious mental repercussions on him. So that's what came to my rescue when my parents were trying to give me this mental shock therapy, conversion, all those things. The psychiatrist who was treating me said, look, you could not convert your son from a left-handed to a right-handed. Similarly, you cannot convert your child from being from gay to be straight. It's that simple, So anyway, so they forgot about that. They said, okay, if science does not help, then religion will definitely help, because for most of us, religion is way above science. Some people don't even believe in science.
Yeah.
We are very God-fearing in India. Most of the people are very, very God-fearing. So religion plays a very important role in a lot of our lives. So they said, okay, forget it. We'll get him cured through the religious leaders. So they took me to all kinds of religious leaders, saints and babas and swamis and sadhus and lady saints and women saints and some other naked saints also in India. So we went to them, and I gave them complete cooperation. I said, let them fully get themselves satisfied. I won't hesitate. I will let them get mentally satisfied and let them do whatever they want to do, to see if those religious leaders can make me straight. And another thing I must admit, and it is again out of experience, and I can tell you, a lot of religious leaders in India, I don't know about other parts of the world, but in India, a lot of religious leaders are gay and lesbian themselves. And why I'm saying that, because I'm a counselor. I've been doing counseling for the last 25 years. I've got very reputed religious leaders, who are worshipped, whose feet are washed and people drink that water of that feet, So those religious leaders have come out to me and told me we are gay. And why we are gay is because we were forced to get married by our parents, and to escape, it is a form of escapism, so to kind of escape the parents' pressures, we have said, okay, now we will not get married to boy nor to girl. We are leaving the home. We are renouncing the world and becoming saints and sadhus and whatever they wanted to become, and that's how they've landed up in the religious fold. But becoming a religious leader is not going to change their sexual orientation. They're going to be gay only. They're not going to become straight, or their desires are going to be there. So now, and I knew that my parents are taking me to the religious leaders who are gay, So now how are they going to convert me, what are they going to say to me when I go to them? So I just went, and believe me, for 3 years, I was traumatized and tortured by my parents. I became vegetarian. I love non-veg food. But I was forced to eat vegetarian food because they thought vegetarian will make me straight. I was once saint told me, okay, you write the God's name Ram in your notebook, every day one line. I filled up several notebooks, I said, forget about one line. I'm going to finish. I had a whole heap full of notebooks. I wrote Ram, 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 all that. One other saint said, take this water from this well and keep drinking one teaspoon every day. Another one said, light a lamp. Another one said, do yoga. I did everything, whatever possible. And in those 3 years, believe me, instead of becoming straight, I became more gay.
But you did everything not because you're looking to change your sexual orientation. You did everything just to showcase to your parents,
yes,
want it out of your system. So you now know, this is who I am. And you've gone and you've exhausted all your options available.
Right. So this religious conversion is being used by a lot of parents in India, and especially in Islam and in Christianity. I think it's worse. And I'll tell you one more thing. In India, since I mentioned to you earlier that a lot of Indians are God-fearing, but within the LGBT community, I have noticed that a lot of us have turned to atheism. Because they don't want to believe what their parents are saying. They said, okay, your God says that I'm a sinner. I don't even believe in your God. I'm turning to being an atheist. So there's a lot of us who have become atheists in our community in India because of this religious conversion fact.
Because it's the understanding of what God means in that particular society, rather than saying actually it could be something that's more universal, rather than just being so insular. How does it affect your version of Indianness then? Do people say you're still Indian? Are you proud to be an Indian, or are they saying, well, you're now westernized somehow? You're westernized Indian because you've come out as being gay in India?
Lot of people are people don't stop in making false allegations, because they always consider being gay and all that is a Western culture, like when we are doing pop music and many other things. So they always say that no, this is never an Indian thing. There is nothing called gay in India. Who says there is gay in India? We have hijra population, but there is no gays. So this is a total Western influence, and because especially because I studied in a Scottish school, so they said, oh, this influence has come from school, or or they will put the blame on some activist. Like for example, the India's first gay activist, his name is Ashok Rao Kavi. He was the one who who counseled me, and he made me realize that who I am, and made me comfortable with my sexuality. So now the blame comes to him that my son was never gay. It was Ashok who made him gay. So they always some other, and now the parents blame me. Oh, my son was never gay, but that prince, that prince made my son gay. So now I am the culprit. I'm the villain.
Are you defined by your sexuality? Because people call you the gay prince, but surely you're Manvendra first before the prince or before the gay. Like, how does it work for you? How do you feel?
Certainly. I mean, see, I would never be like to label the gay prince. Yeah, it was fine in the beginning when I came out. It was good to give that.
It had a novelty to it.
Yeah. But now I tell people, I said, look, I don't work only for the LGBT population. I work for other human beings as well. I work for animals as well.
Yeah.
So I'm an activist. I'm a human rights activist and I'm an animal rights activist. Please don't label me as a gay prince or an LGBT activist, because I like to work for, and I like to work for other causes like environmental causes or heritage and many things. So it does hurt me when people kind of label me as something which is very, very specific, and I kind of I would like myself to be work for the general cause rather than a very specific cause.
So do you think, obviously looking at where India's heading now, it seems that it's much more of a traditionalist place than ever before. What impact do you think that has then upon things such as you mentioned before about the whole COVID situation, young children who are becoming orphans, and that type of mindset now saying, well, where do the lines of national needs go compared to human needs? Where does the line of religion go compared to the human experience of people who just happen out of pure luck to be born in India rather than actual choice?
Yeah.
Where do you think India's heading to now, and what are your thoughts towards that?
See, India has always been a challenging country to govern. I mean, it's one of the largest democracies in the world, and it's hugely populated. And I would say India is not a country, but it's a subcontinent. We have so many states. Each state is like a own country with having its own language, culture. We have 26 official languages. Imagine, and then we have different governments. Each government doesn't have the same ruling party. We have different governments for different states. And migration is at the highest level. We have got the highest migrant population in the world, and also the largest youth population in the world. So giving all these challenges, India is a very, very complex country to deal with, to govern with. And then there is tremendous amount of insensitivity. There is a lot of illiteracy. I have kind of coined a word for a lot of Indians as being educated illiterate. You may have a degree, you may have done masters or bachelors or whatever, but with certain things we are very, very illiterate, and we need to hire this literacy rate and make them educated, literate individuals, and broaden their outlook. We have very, very narrow-minded outlooks, and that's the reason we always discriminate. Like, even though India, in our Indian constitution, is very clear that everyone should be treated equally, irrespective of their caste, creed, race, religion, sexuality, etc. But still, we are discriminating with our own brothers and sisters, with caste basis, religion basis, creed basis, and sexuality basis also. So if we expect that India has to improve its situation, then we have to get these challenges overcome. For example, this recently, because of the COVID, now there are so many children who are getting orphaned, which we didn't visualize that a time will come when there's going to be this pandemic hitting us, and then several children are going to get orphaned because their parents are going to die of COVID. India wasn't prepared for this. India wasn't ready for that. But then look at the narrow-mindedness of the people. If that child belongs to a certain caste or creed, then we are open to adopt. If he belongs to a Muslim, or if he's a Hindu, Then, the religion comes in the picture, the creed. I know so many orphanages in India. I mean, we talk about opening orphanages, but orphanages are also very particular about who they want to have and who they like. There are some, I know friends who run orphanages for Muslim girls. Now they're very particular. Okay, Muslim girl also has to be Shia or Sunni, not both. Even within the religion, they have the discrimination. So how can we help out the people, when in spite of the fact that the constitution, and forget about that, how many people even know the Indian constitution? That is the first and foremost question I want to ask. If we do a survey of the Indian citizens, I bet not even 25% of the entire population would have even read the Indian constitution, which is one of the best written constitutions of the world, giving so many rights to this Indian citizens. But unfortunately, we get exploited, with undue advantages taken of us, just because we ourselves only don't know our rights. So all these things coming together have to happen to make a better India.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true, isn't it? We're born in countries. We place a great reliance on the integrity of the leaders to do everything that's supposed to be upright intention for society, but we negate our own responsibilities by knowing what can we do, what should we be doing, what are the rules and regulations that govern our lives in this country, and then obviously there's a choice, right? It's if you're not happy in that country, and if you have the means to, you can leave and emigrate. That's what happens. I want to go back onto one subject here because I just realized we haven't given it the fan of flames of positive discussion as much as possible. What you undergone with conversion therapy was brutal in itself, but there is a much darker side to that in India as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because you have the electrotherapy. What stories have you heard? What have you witnessed?
See, I have had cases, like as I was mentioning to you earlier, I have been doing a lot of counseling, and I've had cases of clients coming to me and saying that our parents are forcing us to get married to a girl. If you're a gay and you're getting married to, or even lesbians are being forced to get married to men. So and if they don't, then they are subject to all kind of traumatic experiences, like going to the psychiatrists and going to quacks and these doctors who challenge, oh no, your son is he's diseased, or he's having a mental illness. There have been psychiatrists, and we have seen that these psychiatrists are put to task, because now the Indian Psychiatric Association has also said that homosexuality is not a mental disorder. So there have been psychiatrists who have not treated or ill-treated these clients of mine, and subject them to all kinds of shock therapies and medicines which will make them feel drowsy and depression. One of the important things I want to mention when I talk about lesbian, I have had cases of lesbians coming to me and telling me that we have been forced to get married to the opposite sex, and when we have refused, a member of that lesbian's family has actually raped that lesbian to prove that yes, you are not lesbian, you are a straight woman, because now we have raped you, we have penetrated you, so now you have become straight. These are the kind of things which are happening in India.
Wow. And you're saying that in addition to the sexual abuse, you said that there's electroshock therapy that is still taking place.
Yes. There's this shock therapy is happening, quite rampant in many parts of India, and there have been films have been made on these kind of things to kind of make people aware. And I remember there was a film was made in the language, in the Gujarati language from where I belong to. And this film was banned by the government. Imagine. The government is not even wanting these films to be released, because they don't want people to know that, these kind of things are existing if you try to make a film on these issues. So you're turning a blind eye to things which are existing, and that's what in the beginning I mentioned is hypocrisy. You don't want the people to accept the reality. Like even like, I mentioned to you about Khajuraho, where there is open depiction of homosexuality in the temples. The government has actually banned the tourists from visiting those areas where there's homoerotic statues and sculptures. Why? Why are we so hypocrite that we are not allowing the people to accept the truth? Why aren't we allowing people to realize that, yes, we are being tortured for no fault of ours? I mean, just because we have a preference, sexual preference of being attracted towards the same sex, we are being treated as patients. We've been treated as psycho cases, or mental cases, and we've been given all these kind of treatments just to see that we get converted, and we become normal and natural as other straight men or women.
But the problem is, it's that pursuit of happiness, isn't it? You're saying, I want to live an existence as a human being that I feel free and actually enjoy this experience of being a human. And then all of a sudden, there's this censorship of what the accurate history of India is, by then going to this traditional form saying homosexuality is evil, it's bad, it's a psychological disease, it's not normal. When the pure facts are, prior to the British coming to India, it was there and it was celebrated. And if it's in a temple, I can't imagine any other echelons available where something would be spelt out so clearly. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, see, when we were fighting this case, this law, Section 377, and though it took us 2 decades to fight, but we had evidence that yes, this existed in our culture. So even though I don't know if you're aware of this, but the entire religious leaders of India, they got together to fight, or they went to appeal to fight us. The whole, it's known all over the world that in India, religious leaders fight with each other. Even within the Hindus, they will fight. Hindus and Muslims, of course, is a big time war. We fight on cricket matches also. Forget about other things. And yet, all the religious leaders united to challenge the court that homosexuality should not be decriminalized, and not even one religious leader won. Why? Because we had evidence. The court goes on evidence. Just because you say, my God says that homosexuality is a sin, the Supreme Court is not going to listen to that. Supreme Court will say, get your God here to the court, and then in the witness box.
But
and
I think it's deeper though,
yeah.
isn't it though? Because what you're saying, it's they're putting themselves as custodians for God. But the reality is, what have they done to put themselves in that situation? They haven't
Exactly.
earned the right to become a religious leader. It's almost a cape that you can wear overnight, and now all of a sudden you can be there as long as you got the Instagram followers in real life. It makes a difference, right? And
Exactly. Yeah.
that's what you're fighting against. You're saying your pursuit in India is actually equality, not of just gender or sexuality, but it's a lot deeper. It's saying equality of thought. Saying if we are
Yes.
in a very fair society where every human being, regardless of our type of isms that we put in between, get to live a free existence, well, that means then we have to define that through our actions, not our words, or through the legal system that wasn't even ours. It was a legal system that was
Exactly.
by the British. So what?
Right. Yeah. It was.
I was going to say, in the whole thing of it, what does Indianness mean to you then, apart from the paradox, but having a look at the bigger picture of everything that you've been through? What does Indianness mean? How do you define it now?
See, for me, Indians, as I was telling you, is one is, of course, the paradox situation is there in India. Another thing is that we have really, in true sense, westernized for the wrong reasons. I mean, when India was under the colonial rule, that's where these lot of changes happened in the country. And when India got free and India became a democratic republic, then there are all those Western things which were there during the colonial rule were also continued in the free India. Because now, when you must realize that when a country gets its freedom, you should be independent. You should be having laws based on Kama Sutra, rather. Why can't we have why can't we have laws based on Kama Sutra? Why are we so shy? I mean, I know for the fact I have traveled the whole world. Kama Sutra is famous in the entire world except India. We feel shy. We feel ashamed that, oh my God, Kama Sutra, no, it's a hush word. You can't even talk about it. Why? Where have we gone in this 2000 years? We have gone to dogs, literally gone to dogs, for not like, and then they put the blame on us that we are all westernized. I on the contrary say that India has exported homosexuality to the other countries. We haven't imported it. It is the Kama Sutra which has gone to other parts of the world, and we have I mean, yeah, I'm sure other cultures had also had homosexuality, but India has been having it since bygone era. So where have we gone? Where have we gone back? We have gone in the backward direction now in terms of culture, and why do we? And also there's a very strong thing which I always talk about is that India, in India, though a lot of us are proud to be Indian, but I'm sorry to say we are not as patriotic as we should be. And this I can say when I travel to other countries, I see their national flags being hoisted on homes in many places. You come to India, and I can bet if you can even find one national flag in any of Indian home. Why is it so?
What do you
Are we
think
not respecting the?
But I was going to say, what do you think the national flag symbolizes? Does it symbolize the government of the day, or does it symbolize the unity of the people? Because it's really easy for flags to be hijacked by the political rhetoric of that moment. For example, in England, obviously you've got the Union Jack. At one moment, you would never have it up because everyone thought it was part of the National Front. In certain other countries, like in America, it's custom to have the flags everywhere. But in India, do you think it is because of the politics behind it?
No, it is not politics. See, the people are lacking the patriotism. People are lacking the nationalism of the country. I mean, when you say India is free, India is a democratic republic, then why aren't the people aware of our country? Why aren't people aware of, like, as I mentioned, people are not aware of the constitution. Either you are not interested in knowing about it. I have taken interviews of people when I hire people in my organization. I have asked simple questions: who has written the national anthem? Who has been our freedom fighter? And people are not aware of that. If I have asked people who is the president of the country, and that also people are not aware. And graduated people don't know. Now, if you don't know who is your president of the country, then I don't know in what direction the country is going. There are simple things. It's a common sense question. This is not to be like taught to you. You are supposed to know who is your president or who is your prime minister. Here, even patriotism or nationalism doesn't come in the way.
Do you think why do you think it matters to know who the perceived leaders are of a country? If you're born free and fair in a country and it wasn't out of your choice and you just happen to be there, why is there a necessity then to know who the leaders of the country when ultimately you haven't been able to vote for them in or out? You've had no say.
We have voted them. We have voted the prime. I mean, we have a vote for the prime minister. We have, yeah. So we definitely need to know.
That everyone should know for sure.
Exactly. So we need to know. Even when elections happen, we have a very poor voting turnout. People are not interested. They don't want to vote. They said, oh, who's going to vote now? And it's warm, it's sunny. Who's going to stand in the line? So there's these kind of things are defining. When you say define India, then we are lacking in many ways. So LGBT issues, homosexuality is a far thing, which people are not even interested to talk about. They say, oh, that's something which why should we bother to know about that when this is not even existing in our culture. When it is not there. So why should we even bother to know what you guys are doing? Only thing we know is that y'all are diseased people. You're mental cases. Y'all suffer from mental problems. And then we have Babas, like, there was this famous case of this Baba Ramdev, who went on to challenge that, oh, I can cure let me tell you this very funny incident which happened. I was on the television with this Baba Ramdev, who's a very famous guy in India.
Yeah.
And he challenged me, I will cure you and I'll make you straight in 3 months. You just come to my ashram in a place called Hardwar, and I will make you straight. So I said, fine, I accept the challenge.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there was a commercial break. Okay, and the commercial break is the best thing to happen on any television. So I went to the Baba. I said, Baba, I respect you a lot. I appreciate you for what you've done for yoga, for popularizing yoga in India, because he has been quite has brought yoga into the limelight. But I said, I have one condition. You instead of taking 3 months, you take 6 months to cure me. I'm willing to come to your ashram. I'll stay there for 6 months and I'll do whatever you want to do. But in this 6 months, if you're not able to cure me and make me straight, you come to my palace and in 3 hours I'll make you gay. So are you ready? And that challenge was given in 2009 when he went against our Delhi High Court judgment. He went to the Supreme Court along with the other religious leaders, and now it is 2021. He hasn't accepted my challenge as yet. So, this is the way you need to treat these people. When they make challenges and they make these absurd allegations and all. So this is the way you need to talk to them. Otherwise, they will not come to their senses.
That is fantastic. I think we've got the recording here. Is there anything else that you'd like to add for?
Yes, I would like to add one thing, which again is something which I saw in a documentary film. I don't remember the name. I think it was called Intersex. Now that documentary film, there was a survey was done by a university. I'm forgetting the name. I think it was Harvard University, where it has been scientifically proved. And this is a universal fact which I'm stating. It has been scientifically proved that a lot of homophobia, transphobia, or biphobia comes from the homosexuals themselves. This is a scientific study. And why it happens is, again, I'm coming to the point of self-acceptance. Yeah. We are not able to accept ourselves the way we are, and therefore we don't want others also to accept us. So we are the ones who are actually spreading homophobia and hypocrisy and all these things. And I've seen this, not just in India, wherever I've traveled, I've seen a lot of homophobia coming from the community themselves. Yeah. So we need to accept ourselves first in order to bring about any kind of change. Absolutely. In the society.
I think it comes down to the purity of the notion that hurt. So those who have been hurt, they end up hurting other people. And so
exactly
right. It's if we can't even, and what's really absurd about it is that we live in a culture where everything is about self-acceptance, about realizing yourself and coming above the greeds and the egos of man-madeness, yet they're all just simple words, aren't they? If we can't even see past somebody's identity by just saying, I am going to now identify you based on your sexuality and not the actions that you have taken in your life in supporting other sentient beings. But no, I don't care about that. It's only because you choose to fall in love with another man or a woman falling in love with another woman. If that is absurdity of what we brought the human experience down to, God, I kind of wonder why we're alive in the first place, right? It's common sense is not very common. Manvendra, thank you so much for coming on. And, thank you for pushing away the airs and graces. I know off record when we spoke, I did ask you, what would you like me to call you? Do I call you Your Royal Highness? Do I call you Baji? Do I call you Man? And you said, just call me by my name. And I appreciate that. So let the record show that not only are you humble in your quest, but you are a true humanitarian.
Thank you even for having me on this show, Rajan. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I hope for future opportunities like these.
Absolutely.